Deep in the Phyrexian system lies the planet of Pauper. Here the most dangerous minds are held captive by wizards who rule the planet with an iron fist in an attempt to silence the common people's uprising known as Pauperganda. But two have defied the odds, escaping the planet and spreading their dangerous knowledge throughout the galaxy. Aboard the deck of the SS Metagame, they broadcast their message of hope.
It's a signal!
I told the Lexicon we were gonna need one of these. Listen, well, let's see. Hey, how's that?
Whoa! First strong signal in weeks!
There's this colorless mana pulse under the signal. You see it? It's riding our signal somehow. Listening in on our stream. Should we keep sending?
F6 wizards, let them listen.
Damn straight. I'm gonna clean up down here.
The feed's getting shaky.
Quick, push that button!
It's the liquor of ages, the tonic of conquerors. Find your spark. Gin and tonic, making men into giants since 1857.
What the hell was that?
Talk about propaganda.
No joke. Hey, can you do anything about that interrupt signal?
It's gonna take a bit of tinkering. This should get us stable for now.
Today's transmission, masking our signal from wizards. The mana mechanic stops by, and we interview a suture priest. All on this episode of...
And we're live. It's a good, strong signal.
Yeah, we're gonna need to hide our transmission signal, mask it somehow so wizards can't track us.
I got just the thing, Pete.
I knew you would.
It's a simple little trick, but it should work.
Perfect! Now, let's see if the skin keeps us from being spied on. Hey, we're still broadcasting, right?
We were born to broadcast. Of course we're still broadcasting.
Greetings, my fellow commoners! Welcome to our first off-planet broadcast. Our goal is a simple one, to bring Pauper to such heights that wizards will be forced to print an all-common set for the masses. With our combined efforts, we'll stand strong against the tide that wants to wash us commoners from the galaxy. The quest for equality begins now. Little fight, load the first reel.
Locked and loaded.
Let's begin. Welcome everybody to the Mana Mechanic, where we try to fix anything to do with mana in your mana base. As you can see here, we have a simple hand, white weenie, kind of an old school style. We have some cards. Let's say we get Gitaxian Probe. The first thing I want to explain to you all is the importance of matching artwork, matching lands, etc. Permanents, basically. We have probably our most prominent card in this deck is this Plains. Then we have this Plains, then we have this Plains. A lot of you will already see a problem with this. If you get Gitaxian Probed and the person sees this, if they're really astute, they might write down that, hey, Don Hazeltine, and Chippy. Well, if your first play of the game is this, can you tell me what the person drew? Of course you can. They drew the Richard Wright land, so you know in their hand are 3 more planes. So that's one example of why it's very good to have matching lands, because if the person does look at your hand with a Gitaxian Probe and they see 3 identical planes, and your whole deck is filled with identical planes, you play the planes, they have no idea what you drew. Small advantage, but it can be a difference in competitive play. There's a concept I'd like to share with you all that has to do a lot with brewing, and it's called tracers. Similar to the military use of tracers, as shown here, mana can be used as tracers as well, or cards, but in this example I'm going to show you mana. So here we have 4 lands, 3 cards. And let's say in particular, this is a deck that has been getting mana screwed very often. So we're messing with the mana. We're going to leave these cards over here. We're going to look at our mana. We have mana, 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 all matching, excuse me. And here we have our tracer. You'll notice it's different art. This, as a deck designer, allows you to interplay it with your percentages, and you can tell when that extra land comes up. It's not a foreign theory on a percentage piece of paper, it's a hard thing that you can see. If your land's getting screwed, hey, that helped this hand. Maybe your next hand is 3 lands, and there it is again.
Now, we're not saying that the occurrence ratio of the tracer is equal to the change in ratio of mana to non-mana in the deck by adding one more land. Obviously, you've only changed the ratio by a small margin. This, however, represents a visual cue to help you see when you actually get that extra land, vice, or non-land card.
You know that because of that one land, you now have a playable hand. It's a good way of using tracers, which is just alternate artwork, or if you're playing in the paper world, you could literally just scribble on it, hello, tracer, whatever you want to do. I'm fond of using the word jackass. Anyway, that is a good example of tracers in mana, both online and in reality, that can help steer your mana base into a much more profitable direction. So the concept of matching lands really works online as well too, with cards like Gitaxian Probe, looking at your hand, seeing a variety of things in there. For example, we have 18 lands here, and if I wanted to add an extra forest to see how it plays out, I'd probably choose something like this. It clashes a lot with the other one, and you can tell when it's going to come up. It's a good example here in online of how this concept can work. Another great thing with online is this feature right here, properties. You bring up your deck, and it shows a property. Pretty boring stuff, except for this, sample hand. This has proven invaluable over the years. As you can see, this is not a keepable hand. We've only got one play. Draw another hand, draw another hand, draw another hand. Wow, I hope that doesn't happen to me in real life. But as you can see, maybe we do need another land in this. Maybe we don't have enough, as this is telling us without having to waste somebody else's time. This looks like a slow start, flooded, etc. You get the idea. This is a very valuable tool online has, and I rarely hear people even knowing about it, and it's right there. I just don't think they're exploring enough. But it gives you a nice little option, and get your other pen and paper out and start taking little tally notes. Do 100 test draws. It takes less than 2 minutes. And then, the percentages are going to tell you what's going on there, and then you can start adding tracers, as we discussed earlier, to thin out your build, fine-tune it, and get it just perfectly ready for a tournament. It's another good way of using the online experience to improve your decks.
That is some sweet tech, V.
Thanks. It's a bit dated, but it's always relevant. Hey, you said something about an interview earlier, right? You interviewed a suture priest?
Oh yeah, I got a chance to talk to that freak show yesterday. She is completely F6. Here, I'll show you the interview and let it speak for itself. Greetings, gatherers. Today we have a rare treat. Live via interplanar satellite, please welcome the Suture Priest.
We are the Orthodoxy.
The Orthodoxy?
The Orthodoxy of the machine.
You said we. Did you bring an invisible friend that I don't know about? Is there someone else here?
We are of one collective. We are the flesh singularity.
Miss Suture Priest, you seem a touch unbalanced in that voice. Would you like a glass of water? Does your kind even drink water?
The last of the non-whole shall be devoured. Their bodies shall be absorbed, and their imperfection shall be purged.
Wow, this really feels like a one-sided conversation. The Suture Priest, our viewers really want to know. What's with that bump on your arm? Have you had it looked at? It could be a tumor.
The machine orthodoxy shall engorge the not-whole, and their deficient isolation shall be obliterated in a unity. Only then the last wounds in the circle can be healed. Only then shall this world complete itself.
So rumor has it that your eye injuries are self-inflicted. Is that part of joining your new Phyrexia club?
Our glorious perfection is too vast to be comprehended by poorly developed vision spheres.
So, I hear you machine orthodoxians aren't too big into skin. There's something about it separating the individual from the whole. What's up with that?
Come, let me help free you from yours.
I'll pass on that, Suture Priest, thanks. Speaking of spheres, what is that you're levitating in your claw hand thingy? Is that a Loxodon's eyeball, or is the collective just really into sports?
My duty is the sacred act of binding the individual into the collective.
Well, there you go, folks. Miss Suture Priest has just shared her duty with us. Miss Suture Priest, thank you for your time.
God, she's creepy.
I've got some bad news, Cop. Those solar cells are about to go offline. We can only keep our signal up for a little bit longer.
Oh, crap, it's another...
Clogged pipes and plugged up toilets can bring a busy family to its knees. At Stinkweed, we know and understand you and your family just don't have time for that. Stinkweed, fast, professional plumbing you can count on. Call 2 in a black, DREDGE5. That's 2 in a black, DREDGE5.
I was brought to my knees when Stinkweed dredged my pipes.
The signal is going down in 3, 2, 1.